And Suzi picked up on something quite interesting, and you felt that I was psychic.
Well, you talk to me like I'm about to die. Can you stop this now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a bit death-orientated.
Okay, I've been doing this for a long time. I think I still have a few more years to go.
Once I climb on stage tonight, it's probably the best moment in my life by far.
You're never going to believe this. I said, what? And she goes, I had sex with a ghost.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm listening. And she told me about the whole thing. And I was like,
I'm in my room and I hear like a noise.
Yeah.
That definitely can't happen without something going like this.
It's day number 1 of Wacken. Well, day number 1 for me. I think a lot of people have been camping out for the last few days. Well, I was doing my little seance for Lummi. So this is the first official day of the festival where big bands are playing. So I'm gonna see the other side of Wacken, the side that's full of people, the side that's full of life, and interview some really cool bands and ask them all those important questions. Behind me is the harder stage. Now, if you're anything like me, you will like your metal music as hard and as fast as possible. And this is the place for you. This is actually my first time here in Wacken, and how exciting to be invited here to conduct such iconic, memorable ceremony. And I feel like that was just one part of my Wacken experience. So this is very different to what I experienced yesterday. Yesterday, I was allowed access into a room when they closed it off to the public, so it could be all peaceful and somber, so I could conduct a ritual for Lemmy. And I feel like I'm about to experience the noisy, heavy, harder side of Wacken, the side which people come to Wacken for. Let's face it, this is a heavy metal concert, and typically people don't come here to connect with the dead. But it's just like anywhere else in the world. You can encounter a ghost while you're doing your weekly shop. You don't necessarily have to be in a haunted house or a haunted mansion. But I think I'm going to get the best of both worlds from my Wacken experience. I'm going to get the bands, I'm going to get to interview people, I'm going to get to see the crowd, I'm going to get to see this place packed to its rafters. And also yesterday I got to see the sad, emotive, more meaningful side of Wacken. And I think that's what makes the world go round. Balance. The light and the shade, the dark and the soft. So stick with me. And Suzi picked up on something quite interesting, and you felt that I was psychic.
My channels are always open. They're just always open. I hear everything, I see everything, I feel everything. I'm not afraid of it. It's how I'm wired.
Do you normally speak about this kind of thing publicly?
When I meet a kindred spirit, I do. It happens to me a lot on airplanes. The universe always places somebody next to me who sooner or later I'm supposed to talk to.
I'm here with the legendary Suzi Quatro, and we're here at Wacken. You're about to perform this evening, and how are you feeling about that?
I'm looking forward to it. I didn't know about this festival, to tell you the truth. I do festivals everywhere. I just didn't, because it's heavy metal, so I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And now I know all about it, and now I have an appreciation for it, and I'm going to take no prisoners.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, why would you do anything else? You've got to go out there and
Absolutely.
hit them.
Absolutely.
And I had a few questions planned for you, and I'm not going to lie, but while we were sitting here, Suzi asked to look into my eyes, and I was wondering what on the earth was going on. I was like, is my makeup all over my face? What's happening? And Suzi picked up on something quite interesting, and you felt that I was psychic.
Yes.
Yeah, which is very interesting. I don't know why. What was it about me that you thought?
Your eyes go very deep, and you have a long life. You're an old soul, and you've been here many times, and you have a lot of instinct that you act on, and it probably drains you because you probably can guess a lot of things, and you probably hear a lot of things, and sometimes you have to shut it down.
Yeah, this is completely me.
I know.
This is amazing, and you have that gift as well.
I have that gift. That's why I saw it in yours, and I saw it right away.
Yeah, this is amazing. Like, I'm so glad that we met today. I was going to ask you questions about music, and then move on to more spiritual stuff, so you weren't completely scared. But yeah, I have a psychic ability, but also an ability to see spirits.
Yes, I do too.
In terms of dead people. In fact, complete curveball, I actually did get married to a spirit, which is probably a step too far, let's be honest. I think it's one thing sensing spirits and being able to communicate with them.
Sure.
But I believe that you can have a relationship with a spirit in the same way that you can with a human. Obviously, they're not there in physical form.
No.
And there's no confusion about that.
It's all internal. It's all internal.
But I feel like when someone's energy, when they pass away, there is an energy that's still present, and I can sense
My house was finished being built in 1590.
Yeah.
That's all I need to tell you.
Yeah. So
I have
you're not alone now.
I have never, and I'm fine with it. Fine with it.
Does it scare you ever?
No. When I shut it's a big house. It's 3 floors, 9 bedrooms. People are energies around. Oh, people leave energies behind.
Yeah.
We will leave energies behind. There's no-go areas. When I close my bedroom door, do not come through there, whoever. But no, it's fine. Not everybody believes, but if you have experience of it, you can't help but believe.
Yeah, it's really strange because I didn't even have that. I've always been very empathetic. When I was growing up, I used to be very sensitive. And
Me too.
People were like, oh, you're taking everything to heart. You're feeling everyone's emotions.
All the time.
Yeah, everything around you, you're sensing it and feeling it.
I cry over Bambi, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a real thing, and people are like, oh, you're too much. Like, you take everything too seriously. You're too sensitive. And you can't help it. You get amazingly affected by other people's emotions and other people's energy. And until a few years ago, it was just that. I was just a highly sensitive person. And then I had an encounter with a spirit.
Then you could put a name to it.
Then I'm like, oh, this is a thing. So at the moment, I'm, aside from, interviewing people like your wonderful self, I'm on this kind of spiritual journey where I'm learning more about spirituality. I'm meeting all kinds of different people, and it's opened this whole world. So it's so fascinating that you picked up on that
immediately
before. And this happens to me a lot. Like, I went to a coven in Romania, believe it or not, and as soon as I walked in, they're like, whoa, you're psychic. And people come up to me, and I go to haunted locations sometimes, and people are like, oh, you're gonna have fun here. And I'm like, why? What? And it's like, well, I know that, but how do you know that? It's
I've just had it since a little girl, and I just thought everybody, as you're growing up, you think everybody's the same. And then as you start to get a little bit older, you realize everybody's not the same, and they're telling you what's the matter with you. So you keep it quiet. But my channels are always open. They're just always open. I hear everything, I see everything, I feel everything. I'm not afraid of it. It's how I'm wired.
Yeah, it's kind of accepting that. But people do you normally speak about this kind of thing publicly?
When I meet a kindred spirit, I do. It happens to me a lot on airplanes. Because you're kind of in another world on an airplane.
Yeah, it's strange.
And the universe always places somebody next to me who sooner or later I'm supposed to talk to. And I very quickly tell you this. So we were sitting there on a 2-hour flight, and I felt the feeling, and I wasn't in the mood.
Yeah,
so
you're not always.
No, I went in my head, leave me alone, and I did my crosswords.
Yeah.
Now we're into the flight. I'm ignoring it. Finally, the girl next to me who I'm supposed to talk to, she gets up and she spills her entire drink on my lap, and I went,
oh.
So she went to the toilet, and I went, okay. So she sits down. I said, hi, I'm supposed to talk to you. And she went, what? I said, and then it just comes. She said, your grandmother has recently passed away, yes. I said, well, she's here. She went, yes. I said, I don't understand any of this. I'm just going to tell you what I'm hearing. I'm not going to make any sense out of this. And I didn't.
Yeah.
I said, there's been a history of emotional abuse amongst the females handed down from generation to generation. And you are the one to stop the pattern.
Wow.
And she burst into tears.
Oh,
and I just kind of went, and so what's the matter?
Wow.
She said, I'm on my way to see my mother to talk about that. I went, So I was validated, and I didn't know what I was going to say.
Yeah, because like people always ask you questions about it, and you don't always know. It's just random stuff sometimes.
No, it is random stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my story. But let's get back to the show now.
No, that was fascinating, more than I expected. But I feel like the whole theme of Wacken this year is witches and warlocks, and that kind of links quite nicely into psychic ability, because witches believe that they have a psychic ability. Are you into witchcraft in any way? No. I'm open to it and I'm intrigued by it, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm a witch or that I cast spells.
I call myself just very open channels and sensitive.
Yeah. That is amazing. And I feel like as well that within the kind of confines of the media, people are very judgmental about people who connect with ghosts.
And they shouldn't.
It's almost like a running joke, isn't it? Like you know, oh better
not talk about it.
It's a bit like, what, these are the crazies.
Like I said, the only way I can explain it is, I understand skeptics and I have no problem with that. You don't have to believe anything.
Yeah, no.
But if you've ever had anything happen, then it takes away that skepticism.
Yeah.
So that's if they're not meant to have the experience, then they're not.
Yeah,
and that's okay too.
And I feel like as well, like I wouldn't push that onto anyone.
No, me
like,
neither.
If you don't believe
I didn't push it on you. I just asked you.
Oh no, exactly. And I wondered if you ever met Lemmy, or did you know Lemmy?
Yes, I met Lemmy.
Okay, well, interestingly, I was invited here to Wacken to do various different things. And yesterday they asked me to partake in a ritual and a seance to try and connect with Lemmy. And weirdly, I had some quite strange visions and thoughts regarding him. Very random, okay? And I don't know where this came from. But I was sitting there and all of these people were filming me and I was trying to kind of channel his energy. And all of a sudden, I got very, very sad. And I almost went into a trance-like state. And for a moment, I forgot that there was people in the room. And I almost started crying. I could almost feel, and then I kind of looked up and I was like, oh, there's people. And I got this really weird vision of him sitting on a black stallion horse. And this is where it gets very weird. He was holding a slice of pizza. And that's almost laughable.
Yeah, that is funny.
It's weird, right? Yeah. And I was like, do I say that out loud? And I was like, well, that's what I saw, so do I say that out loud? I mean,
was it vegan pizza?
It was just a slice of pizza. It was the weirdest thing. I mean, were you a close...
Sometimes you don't know where the thoughts come from.
Yeah, and were you a close personal friend with him?
No, I knew him. I worked with him.
I was going to say, did you know that he likes pizza?
No.
I wanted an explanation for that. Just in my own
I think it was him being funny.
Yeah, and I also thought as well, the other resounding thing that I got is that he didn't consider himself dead.
He didn't?
Consider himself dead.
No.
He
still doesn't.
That's what I mean. He is still alive, and that's what he was trying to tell me.
Yeah, because that's why he had a pizza in his hand.
Well, yeah, but also as well, like his energy is quite alive within Wacken. They celebrate him.
It doesn't mean you're gone because you're dead. A lot of people hang around for a long time.
Yeah.
I still feel my mother.
So. Obviously, you believe in the afterlife. You believe in spirits.
Sure.
If when you pass away, heaven forbid, we're all going to, would you come back to haunt people? Would you
not haunt?
I would remind them that you're alive.
I would let them know I'm around.
Wow. Yeah.
I'd be a guiding light if I could.
Yeah. Would it frustrate you if people couldn't see you? Do you fear?
No.
Yeah. I guess you don't know until you get.
I would just kick them.
Yeah. You just kick them. You would get
with my energy.
Yeah. You would get more and more. You get more and more possessed as time goes on, and you'd start kind of poltergeist style activity. It's like I'm here. I'm here. I feel like that was a lovely place to end this interview. So thank you so much for your time, and it was so lovely to meet you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's the morning after the first day of Wacken. Well, technically my second day at Wacken, but the first day where it was big bands, big stages, and the main arena open. Now, I interviewed Suzi Quatro yesterday evening, And I was just taking a moment to sit and reflect on everything, as you do. And I feel like I'm just on this crazy, crazy ride at the moment in life. And I mentioned this yesterday in the interview. Had a really, really interesting encounter with Suzi, almost like a kindred spirits meeting. And it completely threw me off guard, because as soon as Suzi met me, she just started staring into my eyes. And I thought this was just her way of like sussing me out, seeing if I had good intentions and trying to get a sense of me. And then she turns to me and she goes, "You're psychic, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And apparently she is also psychic too, so she could sense that ability in me. And I was just taking a moment, one of those weird moments where a lot of your life starts to make sense. A lot of the interview I was talking about when I was younger, and I still am actually, I used to be highly empathetic and sensitive towards other people's emotions, highly sensitive to what people say, highly sensitive to all the energy that's going on around me. And I've been reading and learning a lot more about this lately in my adult life, as you do. And I just wish I knew all of this information when I was a teenager and struggling with my emotions and struggling to fit in. So I feel like this is quite an important part of this video, because there will be people watching and there will be people out there. Perhaps you're a teenager, perhaps you're older, perhaps you've kind of always been told that you're too much, like you're too intense, your energy is too tuned in. And I've had this throughout my whole life. Like, I will meet someone and I will automatically know a lot about them. And I think for a lot of people, this kind of scares them a little bit. And sometimes I don't even share this information. I don't kind of walk up to people and go, "Oh, I know this about you," because sometimes I just can't be bothered with the aggravation. But whenever I meet someone, I have very, very strong sense of knowing. I almost know what their feelings are towards me. I kind of know what they're thinking. I know things about their lives that I probably shouldn't and that they haven't told me. And I have that kind of psychic ability to read them and to also read how our relationship would be. Like, I've met people in life and I've been instantly wary of them, like very wary, to the point where I can barely function in a normal relationship with them. Like, I am not my best self. I am guarded. I am suspicious. I am aggravated. I am not who I want to be, not the best person that I want to be, because there's just something about them that's off and I can't put my finger on it. And 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to be brave on that. Every time, they always prove me right. And I've always said, sometimes when I meet someone, I can see how the relationship is going to end. And there's various theories on this, because if you know how a situation's going to end, obviously your actions can contribute to the ending of that situation. But I just felt all of this kind of personal growth was quite relevant to where I am in my life at the moment. And it might also help someone else who's also very overly sensitive or hypersensitive, as it's technically described. And this can go both ways. Like, there will be times in life where I will sense emotions really strongly. And this is a huge, huge gift, because I'm a creative. Like, I write songs, I write music, and having that ability to feel things very deeply serves me really, really well. And contrary to popular belief, I'm not always going around over-analyzing everything, and I'm not always sensitive to everything and anyone. But there are times in which I am. I'm too sensitive, I think, but there is a reason for that. And I think knowing that makes it a lot easier to manage. And there's also times in life where I can completely cut that off and not give up. And it's just fascinating to be on this journey where I'm learning so much more about myself. And when you meet someone who is completely on par with how you are, it's almost comforting, and it's like, oh, I'm not the only one. It's like a sense of, there's a bond there. It's like a kindred spirit thing. And I felt that yesterday when I met Suzi. There was a very easy flow of conversation, and a lot of common ground, and it's not every day someone comes up to you and says, oh, you're psychic, you're like me. But funnily enough, it does happen quite frequently to me. So it's interesting. It's interesting to know that I'm not alone in my mind. So I feel like I just wanted to share that little moment of reflection. I feel like that is quite an important part of my journey, and it might help someone else. And I feel like I need to get out of this darkened room and get back to Wacken. But I'm really quite excited about who I might meet today. I have a few interviews lined up. I feel like you never know. You never know who you're going to click with and who you're not going to click with. I can get on with anyone, but there are cool people out there, and there are people that make you feel less of a weirdo. So let's get back to Wacken. This afternoon on the Brocarde show, I'm going to be doing an exclusive interview with Wolf Hoffmann from the legendary band Accept. Now, this band has been around for a long time, and Wolf joined the band when he was just a teenager. So this is creme de la creme of German metal. So it would be so fascinating to hear about his creative inspirations, but also a little bit more about what makes him the person that he is today. And the thing that interested me most about you is the fusion of that heavy metal and the orchestration is 100% me.
Meaning of happiness. If you stop thinking about, if you don't give a shit. Well, you talk to me like I'm about to die. Can you stop this now? Oh my God.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a bit death-orientated.
Okay, I've been doing this for a long time. I think I still have a few.
Do you like the idea of the robot version of you walking around the earth?
Who wouldn't?
We're backstage here at Wacken, and I'm joined by Wolf from the legendary band Accept.
Hello, Brocarde.
Oh, wow, I love it. Brocarde, or Brocarde, as the Americans say. But yeah, Brocarde is here with him. And I have some very interesting questions for you. I'm going to start, I know, don't run out the door just yet. I'm going to start with, you've obviously been in the music industry for a very long time, and that's a compliment, that's a big nod to you. And I wondered, what do you think the key is to longevity?
Passion.
Passion, yeah.
Endurance, I guess. You got to believe in what you do, and I mean, nowadays everybody wants to have overnight success, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be like world famous overnight.
Yeah.
And back in the days when we started, I don't think we expected anything like that. We knew it takes time, and you need to rehearse, and you need to put in the time, and I guess that still goes today.
But
they said this, the 1,000 or 10,000 hours it takes. Right? Yeah. To get good at anything, isn't that what they say?
Yeah, I mean, and you've been in the band since 16
Stone Ages.
So that's a lifetime of making music, a lifetime of performing music, and there must be a huge amount of achievement attached to that.
I'd like to think so. I mean, I'm quite happy where we are. I mean, there's always like bigger bands and more achievements, but at some point you got to realize we're pretty damn fortunate to do what we do, and to make the music that we like, and people appreciate it, and we get to play at festivals like Wacken, and we get to make records, so living the dream.
Exactly.
In that sense,
Yeah. And the thing that interested me most about you is your fusion of, you performed here at Wacken a few years ago, and you performed with a live orchestra, and the fusion of that heavy metal and the orchestration is 100% me. I'm a singer-songwriter myself, and that is my aspiration, like the beautiful symphonies marinated with that heavy, earthy grittiness is 100% my cup of tea. So is there anything that drew you to that, or is it just the diversity, like I was saying?
Well, I've had a lifelong fascination with classical music ever since I was a little kid. Well, in the late teenage years or something, I discovered classical music, and I always thought, like, there's something that's so beautiful about these old compositions and about that sound of an orchestra. How wonderful it would be to keep the rawness of heavy metal, but bring an orchestra and sort of, melt the two worlds together.
Yeah.
So it's always been this dream of mine, but I never thought I could actually realize it one day. But then it all came to fruition a few years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of like the storytelling element, those kind of putting that sound to emotions is quite a special thing. So I think,
and I've been surprised because I was always under the impression that the classical world doesn't really want to know about anything together, what concerns, metal and festivals is like vulgar or something. It's not serious music.
And proper,
But I was so wrong. All these orchestra people that we had in the orchestra, they were from the Czech Republic. They loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, they saw the audience out there and the flames going up and the whole energy on stage. They loved it because they're not used to that, because classical concerts are usually very somber and quiet. But to be on a stage like
just to appreciate music as music.
It was super exciting for them as well. So it was beautiful.
It's interesting how sometimes people are different from what you expect, I guess, and don't fit into just one genre. And music is such a universal language, and it touches all of us in different ways. So
it's true, and I think the world in general is getting more open-minded, and people, the younger generations now in these orchestras or musicians in general, they're much more open-minded than you would expect them or in the past.
Speaking of open-minded, that leads me nicely to my next question. Do you believe in the work, because the theme this year of Wacken is witches and warlocks, and it's very kind of fantasy driven, and have you ever practiced witchcraft or wizardry, or has anyone ever cast a spell on you? I mean, I guess you'd never know, would you?
Good question.
Any bad luck recently you can pin down to a spell or two?
Maybe, I don't know.
No?
No, I'm a German, so I'm a robot. You have to understand. I'm actually a machine.
You're a machine.
So I can't be put under any spells. I'm like a humanoid.
You're invincible, almost alien-like. Do you believe in aliens? That's a good question.
I believe in robots, German positions, metal.
German things that are tangible objects that you can touch and see.
That's right.
So you don't believe in ghosts either?
No.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I do.
Maybe. I have a lot of conversations about ghosts and supernatural and paranormal activity, and the theory is that you have to see something or experience something that sort of shatters you to your core to make you believe in something like that. Do you think that's the case, or do you think...
Well, the older I get, the more I'm opening up to the ideas of these sort of paranatural things, or like the spirits and things. But traditionally I used to think it's all hocus pocus, it's nonsense.
Yeah, there's so much trickery around that world, and you watch these shows and all these things are happening and you're like, but it's being filmed, so is there someone behind the camera throwing something across the room? It's hard to believe in it unless you actually experience something yourself, I feel. But everyone's different, I guess.
True.
And I feel like as well, like in terms of, someone said to me the other day, if you don't believe in ghosts, then when you pass away, you think that is it. So when you pass away, there is no life after death. Is that what you believe?
Good question. I haven't come to a final conclusion. I used to think, that's it, but maybe something remains. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I believe in sort of the generational, I believe actually what we carry inside is a lot of the stuff from generations ago, like family history and things, and I think that gets sort of passed on.
Almost like genetically, but not necessarily spiritually.
No, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm open to the idea, let's put it this way.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fascinating topic and it's an interesting discussion, and everyone has a different point of view on it, I feel as well. That's why it's so interesting. But I think someone said to me that if you don't believe in the afterlife, we're accepting that that's it. And I think some people find comfort in thinking there's something else, or you're going somewhere better, or you're going somewhere higher, or things like that.
Yeah, well, that's a religious question altogether. What do you believe? What happens after?
Are you a religious man or not? Not really.
I don't think I am.
You just believe in good, strong metal music and beautiful sounds.
We're here now, so let's enjoy every moment.
Yeah, enjoy the moment. And you haven't been on stage yet, have you?
No, I have not.
No.
In the past few, I mean, not today. No.
Yeah. You've never been on stage before, of course.
No, I mean, I've played here before in previous years.
Yeah. Do you have anything secret in store for the Wacken crowd, or?
We have new songs.
New songs.
They're not exactly secret, but we have brand new songs, and we actually have a guest guitar player with us. His name's Joel Hoekstra, so it's going to be something to see.
So you have a new album in the pipeline, or has it already come out?
It has already come out. It's called Humanoid. I released it earlier this year. Okay. And we've got brand new songs from the new album Humanoid for you.
Wow. Okay, well that sounds slightly robotic, doesn't it?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, I'm a robot. See, there's a theme to it.
If you could have a robot clone your look, your body, your mannerisms, and have it exist alongside you, or even exist.
Could I enhance it slightly? Could I make a perfect me out of that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess anything is possible, but do you like the idea of the robot version of you walking around the earth?
Who wouldn't?
And when, it's going to happen to all of us. We're not here forever. How would you feel about a robot version of yourself performing on stage as part of the band? Is that something that is it's one of those questions that I'm sure you've never even thought about, but would you like the band to live on in that way?
No, I want to be up there. I don't
want to be up there.
A robot to have all the fun. I want to be up there on stage.
How would you like your music to live on? How would you like to be remembered?
You talk to me like I'm about to die. Can you stop this now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a bit death-orientated.
Okay, I've been doing this for a long time, but I think I still have a few more years to go.
I'm definitely going down a very dark spiral here.
Very much so.
I mean, how would you, even in life, actually this isn't just a death question. When people think of you, think of Wolf, what would you like them to think? What would you like them to take away from what you do? What's the resounding message?
Just ask the people around there what they think of me. You probably get all kinds of answers.
Yeah. Have you reached that stage where you don't necessarily concern yourself with other people's opinions? Because I think that's a very valuable place to get to if you ever are that fortunate.
I'm working on it. I think that is actually the true meaning of happiness. If you stop thinking about, if you don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
About certain things. I mean, it's supposed to give a shit about a lot of things, but at some point, if you're really secure in yourself and if you know it, then you say, you know what, this is me, and deal with it.
Yeah. Someone said to me, the key to freedom is freedom in your mind is not caring what other people think.
That's it. And that is hard to do. Because we all do, don't we?
Well, of course we do. And when you're going on stage, you're putting yourself out there, and everyone has an opinion on you, more so than the average person.
Especially with the social media now.
Oh, that's a whole new world. I mean, do you get trolled, or have you ever experienced anything like that?
Well, I stay away from it because I post the occasional stuff, but if I were to read every comment about everything that we do, I think it can spiral out of control and you can drive yourself mad because there's always going to be somebody who says something nasty about you.
Yeah, of course.
And in this day and age, for sure. So I guess you got to believe in what you do and just put your best foot forward and then let the chips fall where they may. Yeah. Because you can't please everybody, that's a given.
Well, no, and I think as well, like if you are pleasing everyone, you're not necessarily being true to your own opinions or your own thoughts. So it's a good.
It's a deep
This
subject
is getting very deep. I mean, we pulled ourselves out of the chambers of death and we kind of made it slightly more positive. But yeah, I feel like it's nice to get a sense of who a person is, you know. I mean, I'm sure you endlessly talk about your music and your accomplishments, which is also fascinating because you're so successful. But I feel like it's nice to get a sense of a person.
Absolutely, I love that.
Tackle those topics. So thank you so much for being such a good sport, and thank you for being.
Thank you for those good questions. That was fun.
Well, thank you very much. So lovely to meet you, I guess, and we'll shake our hands, I guess.
Beautiful.
Shake our hands. Thank you very much. I totally loved that interview. Like, what's interesting about Wolf is he is exactly like me musically. He loves the merge of the metal music and the beautiful symphonic sounds of orchestration. And if you were to sum me up as a musical artist, it would be that kind of fusion of everything emotive, like the beautiful, gorgeous, delicate symphonies and strings and lightness married with that heavy, thrashy, in your face. It is the dream combination. And I thought Wolf was really interesting in the fact that he lives his life for the moment. I asked him a lot of questions about the afterlife, and for a minute there I felt like we were tumbling down a very deep, dark passage into supernatural, paranormal world. And I thought it was very interesting that he didn't necessarily believe in ghosts. And I think that's absolutely fine. The more I talk to different people, the more I have such a sense that everyone's reality and everyone's beliefs are so different. And I think that's what makes life beautiful. Like, I've always been a firm believer that you have to have these encounters to properly invest in them. And I'm not here to convince anyone to believe in anything. So I think it's just beautiful, in fact, just to live life in the moment. And I also feel like that thing where everyone is striving not to give a bleep. You know, I think the aspiration in life for artists, and it's more prolific if you're an artist, because when you're an artist, everyone has an opinion on what you do. And when Wolf was a teenager, obviously social media wasn't a whole thing, so I'm sure you'd have people's opinions, but in a different way. But now for an artist, you go online, you are going to have people's thoughts, feelings about everything you do, everything you perform, everything you write, thrown in your face. And to have that carefree attitude that it doesn't matter and I'm just following my own path and I'm just being myself is so valuable. And if you can reach that spot, like I said to Wolf, that is when you get to freedom. Freedom is not caring what other people think. And of course you care about people in your life, you care about people, you care about situations, and you have to care about situations in order to obtain success. But caring about the thoughts of strangers or negative opinions on you really is the key to self-destruction. So reaching a place in life where you are comfortable in what you have to offer the world and you don't care and you're not affected by other people's opinions is so valuable. So hopefully one day I reach that spot. And I think even for people who've been in the music industry a long time, I think you do still struggle with that, because you want people to appreciate your work, you want people to appreciate you creatively, and you're almost asking for people's approval by putting music out there, by performing shows. Everyone wants to go on stage in front of a massive crowd and hear everyone singing along to their songs, and that's a beautiful thing and should be celebrated. It's day number 3, 4, 5, 6 at Wacken. I feel like I've been here a lifetime already, but today is Friday, and today they have some amazing bands on this evening. There's Korn coming up, there's Gene Simmons, so there's some big international names performing today. Now, it's hitting that point of the day where my energy is starting to go woo, and that really is not acceptable because there's a hell of a lot that's going to be going on this evening. Yeah, my Wacken experience today has been very hectic, a lot going on, like back-to-back interviews, and I feel like I want to just enjoy a little bit of music now and soak in the atmosphere of Wacken. Yeah, get into the festival spirit.
Vampire Politeness, that could be a title of the song or something. Definitely this is the living the dream moment. Or completely miserable.
No, well, I wouldn't get...
That's also a good title for this craziness and madness and this drive that I have. That's my talent. My knees are made of wax. Pronounce my name one more time. Once I climb on stage tonight, it's probably the best moment in my life by far.
I'm here with Jyrki from the 69 Eyes. We're here at Wacken, and you are about to take to the stage and perform this evening.
Yeah, that's really exciting. We never played here before, and this is my first time here, and it's like walking into a movie set. I mean, you see a lot of like people you've seen from the magazines, from the scene, also like metal stars, and I just watched Gene Simmons just the whole set, which was always really good, like really brilliant. Legendary classic rock, how it's supposed to be played, and somebody's still doing that, and Gene and the guys were doing it. So I'm thrilled, and I'm very excited, and then the better yet is to come. I can perform by myself with our band. So it's like okay, being here in Wacken, this is fantastic. And I have a chance to even play here, so it's crazy.
It's a huge event.
I love this. I love this. I mean, I like to throw out cliches, but definitely this is the living the dream moment.
Well, yeah, this is what being a rock star is all about, I guess. And I have to say, like personally, I am a fan of your singing voice. I think it is so unique and beautiful, and I think that's the key to having a career in music. The mic fell off. I think it's so unique, and I think that is the key to being an artist that's identifiable. And I think a lot of the big iconic rock stars have that, but not everyone does, and I think your voice has something very unique in it. And
thank you. I love that somebody like you speaks about it, so can you please just go on?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep telling you how wonderful
I'm melting here.
Yeah, like literally for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, my knees are made of wax.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I honestly do, genuinely, and that's it. I'm not sort of buttering you up because we're having an interview. I generally do really like your
Thank you. I have to, after this interview, I promise to sing you personally something.
Oh, wow, amazing.
But after the interview,
I would absolutely,
behind the scenes.
Yeah, of course, I would absolutely love that. It would be amazing. So what keeps you inspired? I mean, the music industry is a rough place. It's kind of a bit hairy here and there.
Well, it's, in general, it's changing all the time. Nothing's permanent. And it's also exciting. It's not like you never know what's coming next. But for instance, like I told you, I saw Gene Simmons on stage. That's just my inspiration. Looking at him, his fantastic boots, his passion to play rock and roll. So just that reminds me of like, all right, that's the reason I'm here. That passion is something that I share with him and a bunch of other guys who are here for life. We're lifers.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the whole thing. It's it doesn't make any sense. You can't explain it, but there's maybe in the end there's some answer and solution for all this. But like a lot of things you do because you just like think they're your reason to be here, and why do I look like I look like now, and what's the reason for that, or why the rest of the people here do what they do? I don't know. It's totally crazy and insane, but it might make some strange sense, at least in my heart.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's passion that keeps everyone here, and the passion that keeps
and curiosity and creativity, and it's a way to communicate with world. Also, like I'm excited about the fact that the 69 Eyes, since we've been going this year 35 years, the songs that people mostly know us of were created some 25 years ago, and I was like in my late 20s when I wrote those songs, like Gothic Girl, Brandon Lee, even Lost Boys. So I'm happy that, because the world was very different. I didn't have the knowledge of music back then, what I do now. I can listen to any record at the moment. Then I had heard bits and pieces of rock music back then, seriously, like 25 years ago. I had those records which I owned as CD, but I haven't heard all the music in the world, which I have sort of heard by now. So I created, with the band, we created those songs just because we thought that's cool, and then those songs have stood the test of time. And I'm excited and celebrating, actually, not that how long the band has played, but there's a couple of things that we are going to actually celebrate in the end of this year. Our album Devils, which came out 2004, that turns to 20 years right now, and the song Lost Boys is 20 years old. So we're actually celebrating the past right now. So like you said, what gets you inspired, it's our past and what we have created. So we're gonna tour for our 20th anniversary celebrating album Devils and play the entire album during the last couple of months of the year. We're doing a European tour, and we're playing also in Finland and celebrate the legacy of Lost Boys and that record. So that is inspiring.
I mean, it's interesting that you should say that, because the first song of yours that I heard was the Sister of Charity from that very album. And I didn't realize it was 20 years ago, but now I feel very old. But yeah, that was the first song I heard, and I think immediately I was like, oh, this sounds a bit different. And I was kind of a young teenager, and I was like, oh, okay, this is new, this is exciting, what's this? And I was like, that's different. And I liked that as a younger person. I was like, this is interesting. And then I kind of started to listen to a bit more, and I was going to ask you about the whole like Helsinki vampires thing. Where does that come from?
Well, it was just the beginning of the 69 Eyes, because actually I could talk this for a very long time, but the original movie Lost Boys, that came out like 1987. A couple of years later we started the 69 Eyes. So vampires were very fashionable, like in the 80s. Anne Rice had just released Interview with the Vampire in 86 or 85 or something like this. So vampires and as creatures, they were there. Like they were kind of fashionable, and then at the same time, you know, rockers were pretty decadent back then, more decadent than now, and looked very decadent back then. And then when we started our band, the 69 Eyes, I wanted there to be not just music, but I want there to be mystery and image, and the vampires were one of the things that were brought immediately into the 69 Eyes concept and idea and realm. So when we even released our first ever 7-inch single, we had a tiny comic book, like few pages included there, and that portrayed the band as vampires. So it started early on, and the term Helsinki vampires came a little bit later, but the vampires as a inspiration for the music and rock and roll was there ever since the beginning. And at this moment, and if you or anybody else is titling us the 69 Eyes Helsinki Vampires, it actually starts to make more sense since we've been playing forever and we've been existing, where for younger fans we're always been there. You know, like Rolling Stones has always been there in my life. So for some younger fans, the 69 Eyes has always been there. So, you know, it's getting pretty vampiric.
It's kind of interesting, because obviously vampires are very stylistic, like it's a certain look and a certain imagery, but I mean...
And polite. You have to remember that. Vampires are always very polite because they have manners. They lived pretty long time, so they're obviously charming, deadly charming, but they're always very polite.
But I mean, there's a dark side of that. I mean, obviously they drink blood. Statistically, I'm assuming you don't indulge into the culture.
Or just like, we could go on with this, but I mean, I think one of the main vampire things is like, okay, they're forever young and they stay there forever, they exist forever, and then they there's something different in them. But I also I like to point out the manners. It's not that often mentioned, but I think the vampire, one of the vampire things is like the vampires are very polite. They also can be rude, like the Lost Boys, but in the end there's some charm there.
I think it's important to have charm and charisma and to conduct yourself in an interesting way. So, I mean, obviously people know you for your music, but as a person, how would you describe who you are as an individual?
I'm a rocker. I have wild ideas and I try to make them happen. And I'm just out there to find out like all the secrets of life, and I'm just curious, endlessly curious and inspired and out there to live this dream.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like positively like an adventurer. I would say lifer is a pretty good word to describe me in the end.
No, I think it's interesting. You want to get everything you can out of life, and you're curious. I mean,
you can do everything what you want here. That's why we are here, and you can you know, that's why we are here. I mean, I'm curious, you know, for a lot of things, and I'm just I mean, some friend of mine quite recently said, like, for as on personal level, that friend said, like, okay, he understands the 69 is one of my art projects, that I include a lot of things from all different parts that interest me. It could be, from my personal point of view, it's right, but also obviously there's 5 guys doing music together and have been living this life together for that long time. So, but I mean, on the other hand, I don't need any. I've done solo records. I had rockabilly band, the 69 Cats, but in the end, I don't need any other, you know, outlets than the 69 Eyes to make these things and create these things and get these things involved. What we do, and that interests me and inspire me.
No, it's interesting. You said that your friend pointed out that it's sort of a part of you, almost like a project. But wouldn't you say that's almost all of you? Like that?
Yeah, it's actually like as I'm sitting here, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Like as you see me now, that's all I have. I have nothing else than this. What I'm representing here right now. There's nothing like I'm actually having this and that and fortune or something. I don't have anything. I have all this, what I'm wearing here right now, you know, like maybe a couple of other leather pants, but that's it.
Yeah.
Better belt that I'm going to wear on stage.
If I was to bump into you in the supermarket, you would be presented like this.
Or maybe a little bit more easier. I'm not wearing leather pants all the time.
Yeah, I get a sense.
I wish I could.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a little bit more
I
uncomfortable.
can, but I mean, it's sometimes if I do sports, I don't wear leather pants.
It comes across. I mean, I don't know you like personally or anything like that, but it comes across like this is very much part of who you are. With some bands, you get a sense of this is a costume. You know.
Well, it was like, I mean, you grow into it. It was like, I mean, when we started with the band, if there's some older interviews, there's some different things going on, but in the end, you turn into this guy, you know, like I mean, it's the same thing. Like I think, like Alice Cooper is still being asked, like, what's the difference between Vince Furnier and Alice Cooper, and he says, like, basically nothing. So I think with me and the guy who's sitting here is the same guy who's like in the hotel room later on, you know, like on the stage. So it's not like 2 or 3 different guys.
Yeah, I guess it's different sides of your personality, but it's still part of one whole.
Well, I'm so fucking old, so like, you know, like it's like there's that's the only way, you know, and then it happened this way.
Yeah, and are you spiritual? Do you believe in like ghosts and things like that?
Yeah, that's one of the things that you're sensitive, and I like to believe like there's something else that it's not scientifically, you know, explained or explainable, and that gives makes this world like very interesting place as well. So I'm interested in a lot of things. My main interest at the moment is actually just religion and theology.
Okay. Would you consider yourself as do you practice one particular religion, or you just...
Oh yeah, of course I'm Christian because I'm from Finland, so we're Lutherans there. So, you know, it's since kids, and that just like remains because that's, you know, what's part of our country.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think everyone has some sort of belief system or another, and I think part of what makes the world beautiful is people believing different things and, you know, having different, you know...
Yeah, and acceptance for everybody, for other beliefs.
Yeah.
And that's also the vampire politeness.
Yeah, exactly.
Vampire politeness, that could be a title of the song or something. I have to think about it. Or it could be like fragrance or something.
Oh yeah,
perfume.
it did. There you go. You bottle it up and brand it and get it out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a nice.
Like, you know, motorcycle emptiness. Could it be like take it to the next level and make it like a vampire politeness?
Yeah, it's quite funny. I can tell you're a creative because you're like constantly.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
Like,
I just get good ideas. So motorcycle emptiness. And new kind of edition from it, like a vampire politeness.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
If the guys from Manic Street Preachers are watching, let's team up and do the vampire politeness song next.
I think it's kind of funny because I'm a singer-songwriter as well, aside from interviewing people, and your creative brain never stops. Like, you'll get an idea and you're like, ooh, wow.
And I like to toss and turn about it quickly.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and I think that is, if you're not creative, people don't get that. So I would love to have a simple brain.
Everybody's creative in the end.
Yeah,
I think.
In one way or another, I think just some people don't.
They're just shy. Somebody's shying out, but I mean, I would like my example. I like to, like, I openly speak, like, I hope that my example encourages, like, older rockers that I am, like, just rock out and you know, like, get their leather jackets back, you know, on them and rock out and enjoy rock and roll how they used to. And also just be creative, try out, and, like, for this long that we have done this, like on the 4 decades, you know, there's so much disappointments and failures, and then some successful moments as well. But I mean, it's just a long road, but it's so beautiful. The show business and creative and entertainment and being on a creative side, it's so beautiful, but it's hard work, a lot of disappointments and a lot of failure there as well.
And I feel like as well, like you seem to have reached a stage in your life that you're completely comfortable and completely, you know, accepting of who
miserable.
You are. No, well, I wouldn't get.
That's also a good title for.
Completely miserable. Yeah, there you go.
Miserable.
Writing songs as we speak. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like. Have you always been that way, or did your younger self struggle with identity or fitting in or finding your place?
Well, as a kid, they try to put you into mold, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And then you get out from that world, and then you start to do music, and all of a sudden they try to put you into mold as well.
Yeah.
And like the music business or record company people or something, and they try to put you in a mold, and then I try to learn to behave. And I try to, you know, like listen and obey the rules. But quite recently, I realized that the crazy creative mind of mine and this endless curiosity and this craziness and madness and this drive that I have, that's my talent.
Yeah.
So I don't want to kill that guy. I want to keep that guy alive.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe sometimes I step on someone's toes, but I think in the end there's nothing like nothing like what I get done or come up with these ideas, as long as I keep this crazy tribe alive.
Yeah, I feel like there's sometimes beauty in chaos. Like the creative mind is sometimes really chaotic, but if too many people try and interfere and mold that, then it can affect who you are, and you end up not being yourself.
Yeah, and I always try to learn, and then in the end I think that, okay, I don't want to kill this guy. I have to keep that guy alive, and then, you know, because I have the drive and passion and curiosity, what I already came up with, and they're still there.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, what would you tell if you could sort of look at your younger self and give that person any advice? What would it be?
Basically, really nothing, because that guy has done everything, and that's I wouldn't change anything in my life. It's seriously.
Yeah.
It's been a fantastic ride by far, and honestly, like. Once I climb on stage tonight, it's probably the best moment in my life by far.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like, yeah, the pinnacle, and having that excitement is something that's really, really, you know.
Yeah, I've learned to enjoy that too.
Yeah, I feel like when you're striving all the time, sometimes you don't take those moments to enjoy, but sometimes you have to.
It comes with the age.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So I mean, that's me sort of asking you, what would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give to younger people trying to get into this music industry? Because it's very different now, and it's, in some ways it's easier, in some ways it's tougher. But I mean, is there any advice you would give to younger artists? Or
well, I mean, they have to be prepared to work extremely hard.
Yeah, I think
like it's hard to explain, but you know, like I you know, like it's you really have to want it, and then you have to, you know, have some goals, and then you have to be very disciplined. I'm extremely disciplined, you know, like I'll tell you some other time, but you have to be extremely disciplined, and you have to be very serious what you want, and I mean, whether it happens or not, something will come up from it, but you have to have very strong discipline, and you know, like just work extremely hard.
Yeah, I feel like like my mentality at the moment, I'm sort of relating this to myself, but I mean, it will be relatable to anyone watching this. Like, I find myself having to be very tenacious all the time and really, really fight for the things that I want to achieve, but it's kind of something I can't help. Like, I want to do that because I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm passionate about what I want to create. So it's almost unavoidable, I guess.
Yeah, and it's also beautiful. I mean, be what you are, be how you want to be.
Yeah, no, I think
those are the main things.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect message to end on. I feel like everyone is dying to reach that place where they can just be themselves and just be appreciated.
Yeah, exactly. These days, it's really difficult to be yourself because you have to watch out what you say. You know, because there's always somebody pointing out, "Aha, you can't say this anymore." Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit past that. But I like to repeat also, like myself. Maybe somebody hasn't heard about it, but like I like to repeat that. Like I've kept this as my motto for years, like straight from Rocky Horror Picture Show. This don't dream it, be it.
Yeah,
That's the motto. So that's just study that. Even watch the movie. Study that. Think about it. What it means. You know, like think about it in a deep level. So you know, that's the thing. Don't dream it, be it.
Yeah, I think everyone's like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but you need to do that every day, and that's how I interpret what
you know.
You're saying.
Just you have to understand what those words mean, and you have to, you know, like contemplate that sentence. What does it really mean?
And what does it mean to you?
To go on stage here right now, like in a very short moment, and because I've been dreaming of it, and I am it. Yeah,
I think this will be quite an inspirational chat for anyone, you know, anyone watching. I think it's a good message, and there's a lot of positivity.
Well, it's a positive message. Everybody has so much power in themselves. They have just to like realize that they are the driving force by themselves.
Yeah, you can't sort of sit around and wait for someone else to make your dreams come true.
You know, unfortunately, you have to travel around and hustle.
Yeah, I mean, especially these days, everyone wants you to be the success before they even invest into you, and I think
and it doesn't come through social media. You have to be present. You have to meet people. You have to be there that they can smell you. You know.
Yeah, of course.
You have to be like physically present. You have to hustle. You have to do all these things. I don't. Maybe you get a lot of attention or some attention through social media, but then what? Yeah. You have to be also a real person, and you have to be present there by yourself.
Yeah. I find social media funny because you can get an idea of someone, but when you meet them and connect with them, you can have a human conversation, and that will stick with people. Whereas an Instagram post or something on social media, you're in a minefield of other stuff.
Well, that's also fantastic that people are creative through that way, but like, where does that lead if you want something else to happen than just, you know, your messaging from your bedroom?
Yeah, I think, it's a combination of everything, sadly, but you have to be present, you have to live in the moment, and I think that's a beautiful place to end this interview. And you're about to go on stage.
Good evening.
And this evening, good night.
And then some tea.
And like a nice cup of tea. But you're about to go on stage, so I'm guessing that you are going to go out there and give it all you've got.
Yeah, I have to fucking rock tonight.
Yeah. Wouldn't expect anything else. So thank you so much for talking to me.
It was a pleasure.
It was absolutely lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you pronounce my name one more time?
You put me on the spot. I'm like, what's his name, Bob?
It's Jyrki, but you said it in a nice way.
Jyrki.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
that is,
my
you
knees
literally
melt
put,
like.
You literally put me on the spot, and I was like, what's his name?
Yeah,
that's so weird. And
the way you
obviously
pronounce
I know
it makes me gives me more power on stage.
Wow, there you go. Well, there you go. Well, I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure you're very powerful without that, but thank you.
Thank you very much.
So today is the last day of Wacken 2024. Now, I'm feeling kind of tired, a little bit anticlimactical, I guess, because yesterday was so epic. I got to meet some amazing people. Gene Simmons, which was pretty cool. Got to meet Ray, who, as some of you may know, featured on my tracks playing drums. So I'm talking about Raising Corn, by the way. And yeah, it was kind of cool because I hadn't actually ever met him in person. All of our recording sessions were via Skype. So that was pretty cool. And also, I had a really interesting conversation with Jyrki from the 69 Eyes, who actually has been musically quite inspirational to me, which again was kind of an interesting, strange, full circle moment. So I feel like, as I always keep saying this, like I'm on this crazy journey right now and just embracing everything. And I feel like an interesting thing that I took away from the interview, that how important meeting people in person is. Like, you know, everyone's online these days, everyone's like Instagramming, texting, communicating in that way, but when you meet people in person, you can form a connection and you can actually have a human, proper chat with people, and I think that is the key to making an impact on people, and that's the key to building relationships and making connections. So I think this is going to be an interesting few weeks for me. So I'm going to wind up the last day of Wacken. I've still got loads of really cool interviews to do. I'm going to actually go out into the festival field again and take a proper look around and maybe catch a little bit of music. But yeah, it's a funny feeling on the last day because all of that anticipation and everything is slowly starting to dwindle. It's kind of like Sunday vibes. That's what it feels. Even though it's actually a Saturday, today for me feels totally Sunday vibes. So yeah, hopefully I get a little bit more energy. I think I need to go and get a few espresso shots and pick up my mood because I am running on very little sleep at the moment. So let's see how today goes. So I was just sitting here and having a moment of self-reflection, and it just occurred to me that over the last few days I've talked a lot about death and the afterlife and spirits, but I've also talked quite a lot about the future in terms of who on earth is going to replace musicians once they have gone, or should I say what on earth is going to replace musicians? Is it going to be humanoid robots or virtual reality performers taking the place of live musicians at festivals like this? And of course, I can't give anyone the definitive answer to that question. It is kind of interesting to look to the past and also look to the future, but an interesting reminder, we should be living in the moment, so maybe I need to embrace that more.
You're never going to believe this. I said,
Yeah.
what? And she goes, I had sex with a ghost.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm listening. And she told me about the whole thing. And I was like, what? Was it good?
You know, I started with Bigfoot. You went all the way to like Skinwalkers and Mothman.
Well, yeah, like I wasn't going to mention Alice Cooper, but I'm like, how could I not? And I didn't know if that's sort of, what an amazing legacy to, be born into.
In the ballroom, I was like, oh my God, thank you for picking me.
Oh, wow.
There's so much politics, all the stuff going on in the world, and when I click on my news, I'm looking at, pictures from Mars. So
Black hole,
and I'm
black
looking at
hole.
all that, because that to me is more interesting than some politician.
I'm not afraid to tell everybody and show everybody like I'm burning with this.
Yeah, and I love that because everyone's so consumed with, oh, I'm too cool, I don't give a... But it's like, I'm joined by Calico and Chuck from Beasto Blanco. And for me, it's the last day of Wacken, but you guys must be full of energy because you've just got off stage. How did you find it?
It was incredible. It was pouring rain, and we just said, whoever comes to see Beasto Blanco in the pouring rain is the kind of people we want as Beasto Blanco fans. And when we started, it was as far out as you could see, and people were muddy and screaming, and I said, we found our people.
Yeah, they are your people.
Yeah, this is a holy ground, the heavy metal festival of the year you want to be at, and we had the opportunity to play today, and I can't even really express the amount of noise that was coming from the crowd.
Damn.
And I thought that it was one of our best performances, and we're just happy to be here.
Wow, amazing. And you both look amazing. You kind of make the effort, you put on the show. And what is it that kind of, because some metal acts think, oh, it's fine, we're just going to be ourselves, we're going to rock on stage with a vest and a t-shirt, but you guys go all out. You have the striking looks. What inspires this showmanship in you?
I mean, I think we both come from a very theatrical rock and roll background. My dad is Alice Cooper. He plays bass for Alice Cooper. Yeah. That's how we met.
Yeah.
He played with Ronnie James Dio. So we really come from kneeling at the throne of theatrical rock and roll. And when he brought the idea to me, oh, we should do a band, I said, well, if we're going to do it, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly, because the benchmark is quite high. No pressure.
And it is, and I think, for us, it was like, not only do we want to write great songs and songs that the crowd would be involved in, but visually it was just as important for us to bring something more than just your average musician, which for us, it's like we go to 10 or we just kind of don't go at all, so we give it
nothing.
So that's how we are, and I think it's sonically, it was important for me to have it sonically pleasing, but visually inviting as well.
Yeah. And for women, I think too, like we've made in this last 10 years, such big moves in metal and are being heard and seen. And the guys in Beasto are beyond the best champions for Calico, more ideas, do more, get more. And so for me, when I was coming up with the look, I was trying and failing and it wasn't working. And I just thought, okay, screw it. What do I think is beautiful? And the makeup started, and all of a sudden I felt, wow, I look beautiful. And it wasn't a little bit of blush. It wasn't a little bit, it was like this.
Yeah.
And when I do it, I feel really, I don't know, I feel good. And I feel like watching a crowd of now men, women, kids. I mean, there were teens in the crowd, and just like, they are going on this journey with us, and we are so stoked because we look like human comic book characters.
Well, yeah, you literally look amazing. And I wasn't going to mention Alice Cooper, but I'm like, how could I not? And I didn't know if that's sort of, you must get tired of talking about it, but what an amazing legacy to be born into, and it's kind of in your blood, I'm assuming.
Well, and I do have to say, for years, I think I was like, I don't know if I want to do a band because I'm just going to get compared. And I was and then one day it struck me like lightning. I went, wait a minute, you're comparing me to one of the most amazing showmen that have ever gotten up on stage. Yeah. And I thought, what am I crying about? People are saying, you remind me so much of your dad on stage. And I was
like, oh,
thank you. Yeah, babe, cry me a river, right? And so finally I'm accepting it and going, maybe it's genetic. I don't know. Maybe
it obviously is, because you've grown up with it. So you've watched and observed from one of the best.
Yeah, nothing about this is weird to me, by the way.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch her just develop her character and develop her voice and her stage presence. And we were doing that together. I'd stepping in the shoes of being the guitar player and lead vocalist, and so it was new for me as well. So it's been a really, really fun transition, the two of us going on this rock and roll journey together. And there's been nothing glamorous about it, I mean, it's been a lot of hard work. And but when we get on stage and we get a chance to play in front of people, and I start seeing girls showing up dressed up like Calico, you start seeing that it's working. But we're not looking so much for that attention as we're really trying to send a message out to people, which is, hey man, if you have something that's burning deep inside of you, go for it. If you have an idea, if you're an artist, writer, singer, songwriter, whatever you are, if you have this burning desire inside of you, that's what Beasto Blanco is about, is encouraging people, man. Replace the fear, replace it, and just let it rip and have fun doing it. And don't be afraid to fail, because that's been our journey as well.
Yeah. And also, how important is it for you to keep pushing that envelope? Because even you've been on stage with your father holding his severed head, and to some people that'll be like, oh, okay, but that's completely normal to you, and I think it's pretty fucking cool. So how important is it to keep coming up with those crazy ideas and keep pushing forward?
I mean, it's super important. I worked for my dad for 12, 13 years straight, and when I got bit by the bug of each show would happen and I would go, I have an idea. And remember, now I'm speaking into a legacy of the Alice show that's 40 years long, and I was coming up with these ideas. I go, I think I'm going to channel this into Beasto. And so we made a real big differential between, Alice is very horror and very vaudeville. And so we took ours more like sci-fi Predator, Alien versus Predator type of thing. And so where there's blood on the Alice stage, there's motor oil on our stage, right? And it's sort of like Mad Max in space in hell, kind of thing. And so, but I get inspired by, I'll see somebody in the crowd and I'll just get this like firecracker in my brain where I want to write a song about this person, their experience, right? And then like I can see like Chuck's character is like the beast, right? And he keeps developing it. And so I think I'm way far from done. Every tour we finish, I call him the next day. I go, okay, we're going to take some time apart. You sleep, I sleep. The next day I go, I have a million ideas.
Yeah.
This year we're not going to be spending any time apart.
No,
we're finishing Wacken. We're headed back out on the road with Alice for a few weeks, and then September we start with Lord of the Lost in the United States, September 20th through the 29th, and then we're back here in Europe again. I think the October 31st, November 17th with the Mighty Dead Daisies.
Wow.
So we're looking forward to it. So it's been so far, also we just released our new record, Connecticut, produced by Chris Harms from Lord of the Lost, and it's been received very well. And we're just we're on this Connecticut tour right now, and we're going to finish it up at the end of the year with Dead Daisies. So come on, see us.
Wow, you've got a lot going on, and that kind of energy. Like I've spoken to a lot of people over the last few days, and your energy is quite infectious. And I'm thinking everyone should be like this. We're kind of at a metal festival. Everyone should be so excited and into their art. But some people maybe they internalize it. But that energy, it must be kind of. Is there a flip side of that, like a darker side? Like is there times when you're polar opposite? Like who are you when you take off all this kind of makeup and everything, those quiet moments? I
think, well, first of all, Chuck and I are the best of friends, and we've been since the first moment we met each other, and we can be alone together quietly. So that's kind of the reset time. Nobody demands attention. Nobody's like, so that helps. But really, I think the most vulnerable thing you can do is be excited about something you love, because it's really like vulnerable to say, I love this thing, and be excited about it, because that means you're not cool. Because you're excited about something.
Because passion is never perceived as cool. It's like too much.
Fuck that. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about Wacken. I'm excited about Connecticut. I'm excited about it. And I'm not afraid to tell everybody and show everybody like I'm burning with this.
Yeah, and I love that, because everyone's so consumed with, oh, I'm too cool, I don't give a... But it's like, no, you need to care, because this is your passion.
God, I care.
and not only that, but I want the music to do the talking. I don't want to have to suggest, hey, put your hands in the air. Although we do that, but you'll notice during our shows, people get what to do with the songs.
Yeah.
They'll start clapping, they'll start singing.
If you have to tell people to like enjoy it, it's a bit like,
energy alone, what I love the most about our shows and what I see in the audience is most people will see it for a couple of seconds and go, all right, cool, let's go grab a drink or whatever. They just keep congregating. They just keep showing up, because you don't want to miss anything.
I'm stuck in this sweaty
You don't want to know. Don't go to the restroom. Don't get a beer.
Yeah, I'm like, I missed something good, and here I am sweating my ass off and just stinky.
Great.
Well, thank you very much. And you did mention earlier that you're not necessarily inspired by horror movies and stuff like your father, but do you believe in horror and ghosts and things that go bump in the night?
Of course I do. I think it's so insane. The things that we've seen just on our tour alone, where I go, did anyone else see that? It's just having the exposure to it. I mean, I grew up watching horror movies. I just think I was more, I would see a movie like Event Horizon or something like that, or Sphere, and I would stay up all night as a kid and just think about like, whatever comes from hell is scary, but whatever is beyond the boundaries of the universe, and I'm 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, this is a 10-year-old. Like,
so hello, obviously there's had an impact. But that's what I was more interested in. And I thought I could sort of serve the narrative and be like horror guy.
Yeah.
Which I love. And I love doing shows with my dad still, because that is it's my heart. I love doing the guillotine and the whole bit. I love it. But doing Beasto is like, we're hillbillies from outer space. Like, it's so fun to just rip the bike, right? And just take off. And these people are feeling it, and I'm digging it.
So, I mean, do you believe in aliens then? If you're like, you do, and have you seen it? You guys are from LA, right?
I grew up in Arizona.
Okay.
So my dad and I were together when we saw the Arizona lights, the V that was in the sky. We got out of the car and went, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's not just us.
No, and I mean, at any given day, he's a massive.
No, I do. I'm like, I can't help, because I love the thought. Of there being a Bigfoot.
Wow.
Of being, why not? It's more fun to believe that there is than there isn't. And even when I found out, as I got older, that there was, that your parents are Santa Claus, I go, well, that is cool, but I still believe. Because I love the idea.
Yeah.
I love the idea that there's life outside. There has to be.
It's arrogant almost to think that we're the only people, no?
The most arrogant.
Yeah.
In the infinite universe, on this tiny rock, that we're like, well, that's
it's just us and nothing else.
There's so much politics, all the stuff going on in the world, and when I click on my news, I'm looking at, pictures from Mars. So I'm looking at all that, because that to me is more interesting than some politician out there.
I literally just got back from touring America, and I did haunted locations, and literally going into Nevada State Penitentiary. Now that is the most terrifying place I've ever been, and it's completely, there is no light. It's just me, cameraman, completely dark, and they're telling me all these stories. Like, I believe in ghosts, and they're telling me all these stories about skinwalkers, like these crawling little things that's scurrying up the wall. And
it's all fun and games till you see one.
Well, and like the big black blob mass, and it's just like
Mothman and the whole thing.
Yeah, we're just like, I'm like, wow. I
started with Bigfoot, and you went all the way to like skinwalkers and Mothman.
Well, like
we did a nighttime tour of Alcatraz. The haunted tour of Alcatraz, and they showed us where like this guy hung himself and this guy, did this and that, and you could. I'm not one of those people that claim to be like, oh, I'm crazy, but there are people like that, and I even, as a just total like civilian, was walking through going, my whole body is like stiff and prickles. And then we did an old haunted saloon in I think it was Bisbee, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And the whole place is just like, something told me, don't touch anything. And I said, yes, sir. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. Don't touch anything. I obey. Lord, I will bend the knee.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. It's lovely. I always ask people if they believe in ghosts, because I heavily believe in ghosts. In fact, I married a ghost, which is a whole other mad topic, because I connect with the energy of spirits. And I'm one of those super sensitive people, which I will walk into a building and I will sometimes see things. And
you're so rare. That's so cool.
It's the kind of, people are like, that's kind of a bit weird. And sometimes I don't, it's not like I'm seeing one now, but it's kind of like, there are times and places where I will have that energy. And some people don't believe, some people do believe, but it's lovely when someone kind of walks into a room and is interested in that topic, because it makes the conversation a little bit more interesting.
I remember the first time my best friend told me, she said, you're never going to believe this. I said, what? And she goes, I had sex with a ghost.
Yeah.
And I said,
It's the thing.
I'm listening. And she told me about the whole thing. And I was like, what was it good? Because I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, like what? How do you?
How do you contact the dead?
Yeah, no, that's the thing, because if you imagine ghosts as an energy field, right?
Yeah.
And say that when you die, it depends what you believe. So I'm just giving you my beliefs.
Hey, we're here for it.
You leave your energy force behind you. So when you connect with a human, there will be an energy or like a kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And when someone passes away, you can feel that energy. So if you imagine that sort of. Yeah.
And she's a very sensual, sexual person, and I think she probably invites that sort of. And she goes, "It wasn't a bad thing at all. I was just like, oh, this is happening."
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it's the kind of like, I don't know if you have a say, which is a little bit weird, because it's like, I mean, what do? You can't like call 911 and say, "Oh, a ghost just attacked me." It's like, I think they would lock you up, but like in an asylum or something. But it's definitely a thing, and it's interesting to talk to people who have interest, because sometimes they're like, "Do you believe in ghosts? Are you spiritual?" No. That's exactly that. Oh my God. People are going to watch this back and watch other interviews and go,
they're like, that was me.
Yeah, that was me.
We did a Beasto performed on the, I don't know if you've heard of the Queen Mary.
Yes.
So we performed
in Long Beach, right?
In Long Beach.
Yeah.
They shut the boat down, and they had like us and Filter, a couple bands like that. And we played on the Queen Mary, and then they took us to different rooms. Each band went to a different room and did a different type of like supernatural activity. So what they did with me, they put me in the headphones across the room and did the radio scan, and I would just say what I heard.
So
and
like,
these guys were asking them questions.
And so she would reply.
So the only story I'll tell you about this, because it freaks me out to this day, is I'm sitting across the room and our drummer says, "Where are you right now?" And I didn't hear him say that, hearing nothing. Yeah. And all of a sudden, "Proud Mary. Big wheels keep on turning." So the first word that popped in my head was, I said, "Mary, we're on the Queen Mary." I didn't know that's what he asked. Yeah. And so in the video, you hear him go, "Where are we right now?" And I have blindfold and thing, and I go, "Mary."
Oh my God.
It took me 3 days at home. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because it's weird. Like, it's impacting, right?
It's so impacting. And like, they asked if whatever was speaking to me had met me before, and it said no. And then the next question was, "When did you first encounter Calico?" "Tonight in the ballroom."
Oh,
and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Does that kind of thing scare you? Did you run out there, or you're kind of at peace with that?
I almost felt like chosen in a way, like it felt special.
Yeah, like why is this? Because that's what I think. I was like, well, this is happening for a reason. I feel like everything in life happens for a reason.
Yeah, same. And we were walking through, and I turned to Chuck. I said, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not, because I felt like I was being singled. I don't know why, but I was like, whatever eyes are in this place are looking at me, because I'm in a band with 4 men. And so we're walking around, and I said, if I was a female spirit from the 1920s, I wouldn't attach to any of these guys. They look me, they're the nicest people in the world. But I was just walking around, I go, I'd follow me. Oh my God, I'd follow me.
Yeah.
And so when we did the thing, this ghost, they call her Skylark, said tonight in the ballroom, I was like, oh my God, thank you for picking me.
Oh, wow.
So whenever I hear that song, Skylark, now I think about her. Maybe that was the plan.
That was amazing. So I'm guessing if you believe in ghosts, you think there is afterlife.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, how would you want I had this conversation with someone the other day, and this is a weird one. How would you want your ghost to look? Do you believe that your ghost looks like your best self, or how you are when you die? So if you got struck down by a bolt of lightning
now,
and you were in your no makeup pajamas, worst day of your, is that how your ghost looks, or does it kind of embody your best self?
I guess
that's fascinating, isn't it?
It's super fascinating to think about, because I wonder if the gift in the afterlife is how you believe that your best self is. So a 70-year-old man might die, but he was his most happy at 10. So when he reincarnates or in the next life, he says, I'm 10. Yeah. And that's eternal happiness, right? Because that was when you were the happiest. Yeah. So I wonder if I would, come back and I go, I'm 40. Because that's when I was the happiest. You know what I mean?
They embody your best self.
Or a child, or maybe you were 90, because that's when you finally found peace with yourself.
There's a theory that ghosts haunt places, their happy place almost.
Yeah.
Some people think that they're trapped energy where they die, like they've been stabbed trauma. Or the other theory is that they return to their happy place. So it depends on, I don't know the answer to this. I didn't survey 100 ghosts and ask.
Well, if I were to open my eyes and I was in Disney's haunted house, the haunted mansion, as one of the ghosts, I'd be like, this works.
Yeah.
I could entertain for the rest of my spiritual life and just do the show over and over.
Would you? And if you did sort of have a spiritual form after you, would you haunt people? Do you think? Or would you? Because would you like anyone who's like done you wrong? Would you be like, ha?
I would ask God. I would say, God, can you just give me 1 year? 1 year, 1 human year to just gnarly people up, and then I'll go be with you forever. So 1 year to just kick that table out from underneath you and be like, you asked for that. And then the rest of the time, I'll be in the haunted mansion.
Yeah, because it's like karma.
But I hope the most that when we die, that the thing that gets lifted off of us is the like hate and anger. Yeah. So if you would take that away from me, I would just be happy anywhere. I'd sit in a field and watch a guy tend sheep.
Yeah, you must, sort of going out there, putting yourself on stage. Do you receive a lot of like social media hate or trolling, or how do you deal with shutting that noise out? Because everyone has an opinion, don't they?
Yeah, of course. Most people that,
and of course you. Sorry, I'm not.
We're just going on.
No, because I do notice that Calico does get more comments. That are directed to her differently than the comment is not directed towards, say, the video or the picture or whatever. It's somebody has something to say and it's personal. A lot of it is it's something I think that they think is gonna get to Alice but it goes through her. But there are some comments that she shared with me that are not very kind, but at the same time, I think she'll receive a comment from somebody that is very encouraging. At the same time, she's, her dad has changed people's lives, and now here she is on stage doing the same thing. She's influencing people for the better. But with that comes the other side of things, you know, and we all know that this world is not full of people that are playing with the full deck.
No, and also the horrible voices are the ones that scream the loudest. You know, if someone has something lovely to say, they'll come into your day, say something nice, and go on because they have a happy life. Yeah. If someone has something horrible, they will go on and on and on. And
there's a lot of pain out there, that is for sure, in this life and in the afterlife, and it just depends on how we deal with it. And sometimes we're all good at dealing with it better than other times as well, you know. So
right. I mean, I just always try to answer, especially if a comment is so intensely hateful. Usually I just won't respond at all, but every now and then I'll respond with curt love.
Yeah, like kindness, like kill it with
more like if somebody goes, well, Calico, blah, blah, and her dad finances Beasto, and he, blah, blah, no wonder they're playing this place at this place, and I'll just write underneath, you've received incorrect information, heart.
Yeah, because you can't get into an argument with stupid. No. And keeping it brief and to the point sometimes
and to the point
shuts it down. Yeah. But they always say you should ignore everything, but that's kind of hard.
Yeah, I can ignore stuff about me, but when somebody says something like gnarly about him or the band or my family or makes a comment about my dad, it's like, I see it, and sometimes you just go, ridiculous. But every now and then, especially early in the morning, if you catch me early in the morning, I get ready to go, and I go, for what?
Yeah.
For what?
It's like,
because now this person knows I read it, and they're like, thank God, the attention, thank you.
Yeah, you've kind of verified their truth in some kind of weird way. So 100%. Ignoring is always the best thing, I find. But I feel, I sense you're very protective of her, and I think you're very lucky to have that you obviously kind of feel like family almost.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
She's She's my little diamond in the dirt.
Aww, that's beautiful. And you've been through it. You've seen it.
We have been through it for sure.
But that's why you have a story to tell. That's why you've got something to share with the world. And we kind of went around the houses there. We talked about death, inspiration. But we're here. We're living in the moment. We're at Wacken.
Yeah.
It's exciting. So what's the message you want to leave from this interview?
Rock and roll, music, art is alive and well, living and breathing with Beasto Blanco.
And for me, I would just say, I'd say live loud, make art. And who cares if one person, that your mom, it doesn't matter who it is, if you love it to death.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys. You've been an amazing interview.
It's so nice to talk to you.
And it was lovely to talk to you, and it was lovely to kind of explore those topics that are not just music based.
Yeah, I know. It's nice to
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Beasto Blanco were an absolute blast. I love it when people have a couple of good gay stories to share, or they just share their views on who they are as people. And I think that obviously growing up with Alice Cooper as your father, she has learned from one of the very best showmen out there. And they get it. They get what people want to see. They get it. You're here to entertain. You're here to share your stories. And that's what being an artist is about. And having that passion, it's inspiring for people. And I always get told in life, oh, you're too much. You're too passionate. You're too intense. And it's like, hell no. That's what being an artist is all about. My next interview is with Eric from Testament. Now, he's the polar opposite to the band I just spoke to, but that's what makes the world go round. Everyone is different and everyone is unique. So stay watching. I'm guessing that burgers would be your death row meal.
That's mine. They're outside. They're all my cat's under my door warm.
What I was going to say before you started trashing the place is the theme this year is.
I'm all, dude, we're done. He goes, dude, there's the hamburger place. I'm like, ah. I'm in my room and I hear like a noise.
Yeah.
That definitely can't happen without something going like this. La 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 la.
I'm here with Eric and Chris from Testament, and the guys have just come off stage, and you loved the Wacken vibe, yeah?
It was great. We had a great show. It was probably the best one. We've been playing Wacken for 20 years over the years. This is probably the best one, I think.
Yeah, it's good. You've obviously played here before, as you just said, but have you seen it grow? Have you seen it evolve? And is it a different festival to what it was a few years ago?
It's always been big. I mean, Wacken's probably one of the biggest, more prestigious festivals in Europe. It was my favorite, then it wasn't my favorite because it was too big. But this was fun this year. This was good.
No, it's pretty cool.
A little bit more organized,
Absolutely.
I think.
So, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, and that's a compliment, by the way. And what is it that keeps you inspired and keeps you motivated to get up there and to follow that constantly and the drive inside you?
Getting new drummers.
Exactly.
Just replacing people to get the new energy.
No, so that there's a little bit of truth to that. I think with new drummers, even though it's not something we want to do, but when we get new drummers, there's new life and new blood, a new pulse.
Yeah, I bet.
And right now we have the kid.
Yeah.
He's 20. He's my son's age, so he's 25.
Oh, wow.
I'm 60, so.
Papa right here.
Yeah.
So you're the breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air, but it's bringing new energy in what we had when we first started.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's just like full of like,
Sound guy's gonna hate you. So how does it feel for you to step into a band and be the new boy kind of thing?
It's with Testament. It's great because they welcome me with open arms, and we all get along very well. We laugh. We go on food adventures. We hang out, and it's more than just being on stage. Of course, that's the main thing. But we all, outside of our jobs, we all really get along.
I think his parents also taught him well, because a lot of times when I've jammed with younger drummers, I'm like, do you know 2112 by Rush? And he's all, who? So he knows all, all the older drummers and the older music and stuff that I was influenced by. So maybe his dad was influenced by this stuff. So
I mean, I just picked up on, and it might be the fact that I'm absolutely starving, but I just picked up on the fact that you said you go on food adventures, and I want to know more about that.
That's
Come on.
Me, him, and Steve. Yeah, we'll go on.
Yeah, no, we're really into. So there's a show on Netflix. It's called Somebody Feed Phil. Do you know that show?
I don't.
So we've done some of his tours where, I think in Denmark once he went to like 4 or 5 different restaurants. So we did that.
Oh wow!
But we had to walk to each one, and we had like 6 meals that day.
Oh my goodness! Like a food crawl.
The whole next day we didn't eat. Sorry.
Yeah, well, so we went to all of them. I think there's a couple where we could. The last one was called Gas Station Hamburgers.
Oh wow!
And it's in Europe, and I think maybe it's Denmark.
It's Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Wow.
We couldn't find it, and we were in a square in Denmark, and there was an Italian restaurant. So we sat down. Yeah, so we sat down, had some wine, some carbonara. Mind you, we just had tacos and hot dogs.
A lot of food.
The good life, huh?
So yeah, so we're.
What was an off day?
I'm all, dude, we're done. He goes, dude, there's the hamburger place. I'm like, ah.
Wow.
So we made ourselves go there, and then after we ate there, we went and had ice cream across the street.
Well, I mean, I was going to ask you other passions, but food's sounding pretty passionate to me.
We like food. Yeah. We like it.
What's the best thing you've ever eaten? I'm definitely going down this food journey with you.
Okay, so he's a burger guy, so we'll go with burgers.
Yeah.
I like, I'm more of like, I like Italian food or, but so we're gonna go with burgers.
I mean, there was this place in Bangkok.
Yeah.
And that's where we had the best burger of our life. It was the most weird place to have an amazing burger, but it was a place called Quickie.
Ah, there you go.
Man.
And you remembered that burger because you're like, it's Quickie.
Yeah.
It was just so like.
I think the gas station place was closer.
And gasoline was close second.
Gasoline,
sure.
yeah, gasoline.
Wow, I can definitely feel the passion for food. So I'm guessing that burgers would be your death row meal.
That's mine. I don't know what his is.
What's yours then?
He's an amazing cook, by the way.
I just like to cook a lot of stuff. I'm probably more into like seafood kind of stuff.
Oh wow.
Italian.
Cool. I've been literally spent the past hour in various of these sweaty little boxes, and each of them smells of food, and that will put you off anything.
I mean, when it comes to food, it's hard when you're on the spot. Okay, so when I'm hungry and when I go eat, and I'm with my girlfriend, I'm like, okay, here's where we're going. She's so cool, and I go, or do you want to go here? And then she's like, that sounds good. I go, wait, or we could go
when he's really hungry, you can't decide.
Oh, so
I'll name like every genre.
It's a little bit of
food.
everything.
Yeah. So a Mexican. No, let's go here.
And then everybody gets mad at me.
So I mean, you'll love places like Vegas where you've got the buffet and you can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Where did you say? Where?
Las Vegas.
Oh, Las Vegas.
Yeah. In fact, a completely curveball, but I just got back from Las Vegas.
Ever tried In-N-Out burgers?
I haven't, but I'm really boring because I have an allergy to gluten. So I have to do the bunless burger.
So
my wife has the same allergy.
So wait, so your options are apples.
No, it's not that boring. It's not that boring,
My
honestly.
wife has celiac.
I am celiac too. So you will identify with this problem when you go to McDonald's. They fling the patty with the cheese on top in a random box, and it's literally like the cheese is stuck to the box, and you've got this dry bit of beef, and you're like,
I didn't know that. Okay.
It's like, that's why you don't.
Never heard of McDonald's. Is that a new place, McDonald's?
It's been around a little bit.
Yeah, it's been around a little bit. So what I was saying is I've completely got diverted with telling you about my allergy, which is completely irrelevant to this conversation.
No, but so it's hard to pick stuff when you go to a restaurant and you're like gluten-free.
Yeah, and people are like, you're just doing it for health, and it's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you end up.
It's like no one eats gluten-free bread for fun. Have you tasted that stuff? It tastes like cardboard, so you don't.
No, there's some good ones now.
It's getting better.
There's
right?
a lot of good ones.
There's some good ones.
It's getting better. So, yeah, but like 10 years ago, it was.
What's your favorite food?
Ooh. That's really tricky. You put me on the spot.
Sushi?
Don't know about sushi.
First one that came to your mind, you had to have thought of something.
It's probably like something like simple like pizza, because when I think of favorite food, I think what would I always be able to eat? and always
Pizza.
it would be all right. But gluten-free pizza can be a bit.
No, cauliflower crust, and they got some good thin crust options.
There you go. He knows. He's been schooled.
Of course.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we're really talking about food, aren't we? We need to talk about something other than food. So what are your other passions? We've got music, which is obvious, that's a given. What do you do to switch off, you know, apart from eat?
So when we're jamming and after we've jammed and we're like just made up some killer riffs, we go upstairs and cook food.
Yeah.
This is something we haven't talked about.
No, I mean, there's no food themes. I mean, you might as well have a food blog.
My wife and I, we brew our own beer. That's like a hobby of ours.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Beer. That's,
Okay.
That's something else we do to get a release and have fun.
And how does that compare to like something you're drinking now? Is it comparable? Or?
We're not pros, you know.
Yeah.
Like
It's good though,
and
right?
it's fun. And
His beer is very promising,
Ah.
I think.
Yeah.
So the last one was an IPA and it had kind of like a molasses.
yeah, like citrus hops and
Citrus hops. A little bit more citrusy, I think you
Yep.
could do, but it'd be good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. So
And then Eric likes to hike and go on walks, like all these, like he takes me on these trails and stuff. And
so it's balance, you know. You're eating and then you're walking. It kind of makes
I
sense.
get him up. I go, let's go walk. We just ate like 4 burgers. Let's go eat.
yeah,
Or not eat, I mean walk.
let's go eat.
So I mean, you guys like your metal stars, rock stars, whatever you want to call yourself. Do you kind of indulge in the like rock and roll lifestyle and the completely? I mean, I know you go to hamburger joints and have the odd beer, but how do you feel about that side of things? Do you think that exists anymore, or is that just one of those nasty cliches?
It can. I mean, we could definitely turn it on, but I think the roadies, our road crew, are more rock stars.
Ah.
They party hardy. They make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And they get crazy. And it's hard to stay up with them and drink because they stay up till like 5 in the morning and then they get up at 10.
Oh wow.
And they're sitting at the stage and I'm like, how are you guys doing this? And they're like,
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I guess you want to make sure you've got that energy for that performance as
Yes,
well. You don't want
yeah.
to burn yourself out and be sort of running on empty.
exactly.
So,
We have a good time though.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And you, like I said, you've been in the industry for ages and ages and ages. What have you seen anything troubling, or have you had any really terrible experiences? You've obviously had nothing that's put you off because you're still here and still going strong, but
I would say, the last thing I can remember was when COVID hit.
yeah, that was quite
it was
drastic.
chasing us all through Europe. Each country that we would go to, it was like we're driving away and then we hear on the news, oh, Spain just closed down. Oh, Italy, we were going to Italy. Italy was closed. We didn't get to go there. But everywhere we went, it just was like the street was falling behind us. We're just
Oh my goodness.
watching everything fall.
Absolutely.
And like for a band, like when your kind of livelihood is touring, that must be quite scary times for you. I mean, it feels sort of distant now, but quite prominent to live through, I guess.
It was just crazy. And then, we had Asia and Australia and all these tours coming up. And we were like, we should cancel them because we just bought all these plane flights, spent a lot of money. And so we canceled them and we put online, and then the promoter's like, oh, don't do that. Everybody's going to freak out. There's no COVID here. So we bought tickets again, and then they canceled.
Oh my God, yeah, it's kind of like,
We were
no, just keep going strong.
And the
Hope
next
for the
tour we
best.
were going to do, we had 12 shows in Russia and 2 in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it was in the winter, and we decided to push it back to May, but then the war happened.
Oh my God.
And
yeah.
so we were just like, what the fuck? This world's just going to
yeah,
going
it's
to
kind of
shit.
like one disaster after another. I
Oh my
guess.
God. So, yeah.
I mean, I've got a complete curveball question for you guys. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
No. Do you?
Yeah, there's ghosts.
Have you seen anything? Like, have you seen anything? No.
I've heard stuff. I don't know. I'm sure everybody's heard, like when you're sleeping, like sometimes, and it's not even an evil voice, but it's like, Eric. And I'll be sleeping, I'm like, and someone go, Eric. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh wow.
And I always try to go, what voice was that? Or I've heard,
Yeah.
something where
So it's
I'm like
almost
going,
like unexplained.
but who knows if it's in your head? You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you've never actually seen like the apparition of a ghost.
I've seen stuff,
Yeah, it's kind of.
but
fun.
then you don't see it again. You're like,
Yeah, it's always like that. It's
What
like,
was that?
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, I literally just got back from doing a haunted tour of America. I went to LA and I went to Vegas, and they sent me into this haunted prison, like Nevada State Penitentiary, completely dark. And I'm over there. A lot of the people that I came into contact with have had some very vivid.
You might not see it, but you can feel the energy.
Yeah,
there's definitely an energy with apparitions or ghosts or.
Yeah,
but I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, if you believe in God, there's the devil, there's ghosts, I mean, there's everything.
What about aliens? Do you believe in aliens?
There's everything.
There has to be something else.
Yeah, I was having this conversation earlier, and it's like, gosh, surely it's a bit arrogant to think that it's just us.
I think you're right. I don't have a ghost story, but the closest thing to it is I think I was dreaming, and I got up and I went to the bathroom. And I was like, okay, cool.
What'd you do? Like number 1 or number 2?
Number one. And where I was living at the time had a big mirror like for the wall. And I looked in the mirror and I wasn't in the mirror.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, what the heck? And I blinked and I was like, what? And I like opened my eyes or whatever, and then I like went back into my body, and then I woke up. So I think it was a dream. It was just a dream, but
kind of unexplained.
Like, that's the first thing I think of when you said, do you believe in ghosts? That story always comes into
So
my
being awake, have you ever seen anything?
No.
So basically, you just had a bad dream.
Yeah, it was just a dream.
It's just a dream. You just had a dream.
I've definitely had.
That's the closest thing I have to.
I've had stuff happen to where I'm in my room and I hear like a noise.
Yeah.
That definitely can't happen without something going like,
Yeah, like tapping.
Like this. You're like, and I'm laying in bed. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
But he's got 2 cats though.
No, they're not in the room though.
Oh, in your room.
Wow.
And then they're outside. And they're all my cats under my door going.
Wow. So maybe you've got a haunted house. I mean, you never know. I mean, how would you be scared if you did actually see a full apparition of a spirit? Would you run out? Would you sell the house, or would you be quite at peace with that?
I mean, I would accept what it is, but I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it would be a little bit unsettling, I guess. And
I'd be scared, but I wouldn't. I'd just be like, okay, so.
I guess it's hard. I've asked you a question which you can't really predict the answer to, I guess.
If they, did something to me physically, I'd be like tripping,
Yeah, exactly.
Like an entity or something, but.
Yeah. And I guess like the theme of Wacken this year is witches and.
Whoops, sorry.
Wow, God damn that. God.
I meant to go in the garden.
I mean, come on.
Fucking apparitions.
God damn that poltergeist.
Sorry.
I was there.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm asking if you're rock and roll and you're trashing the place.
I didn't even mean to do that. I was trying to throw it in the garbage.
Wow, it's fine. It's not my room. I don't care. Feel free to trash it some more if you want.
Really?
If you want, I mean, I'm not your mom. So what I was going to say before you started trashing the place is the theme this year is witches and warlocks. Have you ever encountered a witch? Have you ever had a spell put on you? And I'm not going to put one on you, but...
So...
He's like, what the hell?
I'm not going to go there.
And do magic.
Yeah, are you practicing wizardry?
I do that all the time.
You do. You're manifesting the fact that you're going to be playing Wacken again.
I've almost manifested stuff, but then I stopped. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going
jinx there. Yourself or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, what am I getting into? Like, it's like calling the FBI. Like,
Have you ever called the FBI?
Well, I was thinking about it.
Thinking about it right now. In fact, I'm in an interview. It's a little bit strange.
So my point is, once you open some doors, for one thing, there's other things coming back.
Yeah, it's kind of like you would never sit there and kind of with an Ouija board and say, prove yourself, because you'd be scared. Yeah, it would be a bit like, oh, let's not tempt fate.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
I think we should start talking about food again. Have you had dinner?
Have you?
I have not had dinner.
It's pretty good catering. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What about, has it got burgers? What are the burgers like?
He had some burgers. He said it had too much spices.
Oh, too much spices.
But they had some barbecue chicken. And
it was good. I gave it a good
ribs.
We always rate. Oh,
it was a 7.
I do, but we
you said 7.2.
That's That's a solid score.
Well, there you go. Wacken has got, I say,
For catering, that's killer.
yeah, it's got good music and it's got good burgers. So why would you not want to come here, right? No brainer.
Fries, I don't know. Fries were like soft and some crispies. I don't know.
I didn't have those, but
6.5.
Wow, there we go.
yeah.
I mean, is there anything you want to share with the world before we wrap this little food adventure up?
We have a new record coming out next year.
Wow.
Nuclear Blast.
Is it about food? Come on, oh, it'll be amazing. Can we just call you Alpha
It was
Burger?
inspired from food.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Food and horror movies.
Goulash.
Wow. Wow.
Ahiako.
Poltergeist, hot dogs and burgers.
Eric, we watched like all 3 Omens, plus the remakes, and then we go down and jam and like.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh wow, that's cool.
We watched
already.
The Dead, The Exorcist. We just
All this
everything.
evil, like scary.
Yeah, and then we just get inspired and make a cocktail or something and go down and.
So
jam
you're inspired, even though you don't necessarily believe in spirits or you haven't seen anything, you're inspired by
Of
the whole
course.
horror
Oh, absolutely.
genre. It's quite
We're horror fans.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite horror movie then?
Lately, Evil Dead Rising.
Me too. I was
That was
gonna say
fun.
the same thing.
That was fun.
Wow. And
We watched that together, and I was really like,
oh no. Yeah, I don't know. So I mean, Halloween is just around the corner. So do you go the full? I love the way
Is it?
American.
Well, it's coming
Well,
up
it kind
October.
of is.
Yeah.
People are talking about it. Like I'm getting emails about Halloween
okay.
stuff, but I mean,
we're a few months away.
okay. So
It's not like a year away. It's close.
okay. It's close-ish. It's well. Okay, Halloween is a few months away.
It's a few months away.
Do you do the whole thing where you get dressed up and embrace? And I want to know.
last year we were playing on a cruise and we all dressed in corpse paint.
Oh wow.
That was awesome. We had a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
All of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I love.
I didn't think there was going to be me and him.
Yep.
And then I put corpse paint on him. And then we walked out into the lobby to go walk to, and then Chuck started laughing. He goes, you're the only one that's going to wear corpse paint tonight. He's like, woo.
Oh wow.
So I did mine, and then I did something on Chuck. I did Paul Stanley on Alex.
Yeah.
And then I think Steve
just did like
some like Bavarian,
yeah, exactly.
barbarian kind of like shit here.
Wow. So
Exactly,
so what about this year? You've got to go really big this year. You're gonna
I
go.
think we're going to be on tour during Halloween. I think
No, we
so.
get home on the 25th.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But if we were, we would do it again.
It used to be a big holiday for me. I haven't really done anything.
Yeah, I love the way in the UK it's a little bit lame. You get like a sort of pumpkin costume from a supermarket, which is basically a bag.
So my daughter's 20, so all she's in college, so she's always like, Dad, look at me and my friend's gonna be a cat, and
Yeah.
my other friend's a nurse, and they all look, and I go, you guys look like a bunch of fucking crazies. I'm like,
Yeah.
you all look the same, like, okay, you got the ears, but
Yeah.
where's the costume?
Yeah, it's literally just the ears and like
Oh my God.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. So I reckon we should wrap this interview up.
Sure.
You guys have been like brilliant sports, and yeah.
Thank you for having us.
And you got to plug your record as well as talking about food. So that's a wrap. Wacken 24 is about to die. The holy ground is about to go to sleep. And so am I, because I've been working my butt off the last few days and I'm running on empty. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you've got to do. You've got to like, you've got to follow, you've got to surprise. You've got to surprise me, you've got to subscribe. And yeah, I'm on a whirlwind at the moment. Who knows where my next adventure will take me, but I'm hoping you're going to follow me and come with me on that wild ride. Thanks for watching. Rock on. Bye.